Hello everyone, this is Random Writer here, and I know you guys are gonna say it in the comments. I know you guys because I know it from my last video. I know that I'm sick. I know that I shouldn't be recording with a sore throat and a sinus infection. I know that you guys are telling me to get some soup, to get some throat spray, to get anything to help me get better. But I still wanted to really upload, and besides, I thought that me getting sick was probably a good thing because I can probably use that as inspiration for a story. And at first, I was having some trouble on what characters or what franchise to use this idea with. At first, I considered a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle story, but I knew that would take way too long because then I would be forced to do all four of the turtles. I'll revisit that at another time, though. And I wanted to do an Avengers story, but again, I didn't know which one to choose. So, I'm gonna save that idea as well for another Avengers story. And then I decided, you know what? I think that it's been a bit since I've done a Sherlock X-Rater story, and I mentioned before that I didn't know how to do a John X-Rated X Sherlock, and now I think I finally got the idea down. So I'm really happy with this story, and it took about a couple of hours to make, and I've only just now gotten finished with it and recording it. So I certainly really hope that this is worth all of the hard work I put into it, even though I should be in bed by now. But guys, you gotta know this. I cannot sit still for a moment, especially when I'm sick. So, why don't we go ahead and get started? This is simply titled, I'm Sick. You laid on the couch, groaning in agony as Sherlock was pouting and making you some classic chicken soup. While John was out getting some cold supplies, you had a sinus infection, and your two boyfriends, John and Sherlock, not Sean, absolutely lost it. Since John is a tad protective and a doctor, he offered you a free checkup. Meanwhile, Sherlock went around disinfecting everything. When you tried to explain to him that it was a sinus infection and not a flu or a cold, he just said, I am not getting sick, even if it's from you. Finally, Sherlock was done with your soup, and John was back from the pharmacy. Sherlock nearly burnt the soup, which you didn't even know was possible. I may be excellent at a lot of things, but cooking is not one of them. For God's sake, Sherlock, one of these days you're going to burn the flat down. You giggled a little before a sneeze overtook you. John quickly handed you some tissues, and Sherlock rushed off to grab some disinfectant. After you finished your soup, John began checking your temperature and even your blood pressure. John, I still think you and Sherlock are making a big deal out of this. This is just a sinus infection. It'll go away in a few days. Yes, but I want to make sure there's nothing else wrong. You sighed, and Sherlock came out of the kitchen with some tea and with extra honey and a bag of cough drops. I was supposed to give her those, John yelled. Sherlock just ignored him and grabbed the thermometer. 97.7 Fahrenheit. John just sighed loudly and just looked to you, and took a wooden stick and stuck it on your tongue. Say you said, and John and Sherlock quickly leaned in to look at your throat. You felt a light blush fall on your face, and they leaned back. Your throat looks a little red and swollen. I suggest drinking the tea and taking the cough drops to ease the pain to keep the pain at bay until it goes away. You know, John said with a sigh, I'm the doctor here. As you were watching TV and occasionally drinking your tea, you thought about Sherlock and John leaning in so closely to you. Just the thought made you flush. You were dozing off when you felt someone feel your forehead, and you opened your eyes. Sherlock was leaning in super close to feel your temperature. Sherlock, you said with venom. What are you doing? I'm doing this new thing called making sure you don't have a fever. Well, what do you think, Mr. Smartass? Sherlock retracted his hand and spoke with the deduction look on his face. You feel warm, but not in the same way as if you had a fever. It's more likely you're flustered about something. Since me and John have been the only ones you've been with all day, you might be flustered over something one or both of us did today. You felt your face go redder, and you sighed. John came into the room and noticed you both staring each other down. Did something happen after I left the room? Sherlock thinks I'm flustered because you guys did something today. But am I wrong? Sherlock had that cocky smirk on his face you both loved and hated, while John was confused. He spoke gently, but not too quiet. It's just... It meant a lot that you guys are putting in your best efforts to make me feel better. I mean, you guys can be doing something else much more worth your time, like going out and working or blogging or whatever. But you guys insisted on getting me better, even if I end up getting you guys sick. John and Sherlock smiled and John grabbed your hand. Your name. You're our girlfriend. I don't know about Sherlock, but I wouldn't care if you got me sick. I don't care what else we have to do. If something is wrong with you, it is our priority to make you feel better no matter what. For once, John is correct. I may not like the idea of getting sick, but taking care of you is more important than my immune system. You felt your vision blur, but you didn't. You smiled and felt your vision blur. If you didn't love them before, you adored them now. The end. Once again, I know that it's really strange that I'm recording even though I'm very sick, and I'm not gonna lie, I have been checking my temperature frequently to make sure I'm not running a fever, and my throat has been killing me. And I actually do have a sinus infection, which, not to mention, earlier today, the reason I was speaking so quietly in my video was not only because I was sick, but also because I didn't want to wake up my family while they were sleeping. So in case you guys were wondering why my voice is much more upbeat and perky, it's because I have the house to myself. So I was able to get this story done without distractions. But anyway, guys, thank you all so very much for watching. And as always, this is Phantom Raider, and I'll be seeing you all very soon. Bye-bye.